So when I was the leader, though, of this ARVR women, it was, a lot of it was really awful. I mean, I loved what I was doing. I loved the field, but women were coming to me because I was the leader of this group with these just horrific stories of crime, like awful, terrible crime that was happening to them in the various organizations they were working in, tech organizations, usually in the Bay Area, but sometimes other places around the world, especially Upload, but not just Upload. And I didn't know where to go with all these horrific stories of crime happening to these women, rapes and harassment, and they were coming to me with these stories, and I didn't know where to go. So that was bad. But the good part was that also women around the world were coming to me with questions. They wanted to use ARVR, and they want to know how to do that. Many of them were storytellers of some kind or another. And one of the really interesting and just courageous, badass bitches that I met in this way, she was a European journalist, at the time based in Denmark, but she was doing something very dangerous. So I got the impression that she moved around. She was of Russian descent. Her father had been a journalist exposing sort of the Russian mafia and had been horrifically murdered. But she was carrying on his work. And her focus especially was on the Russian mafia and the sex slave trade around the world. Now, at this point, when she contacted me, I mean, it was horrible. A lot of it was new information. I thought this was stuff, happening in other places around the world, not America, never in America, or maybe a little bit, but, not really, but mostly like all around the world, like this terrible stuff. She was interested in making a VR experience because, surprise, surprise, men especially weren't believing what she was saying. And women weren't either because they just didn't want to. So she was hoping that a VR experience that would bring home what she knew and was trying to teach people would make a deeper impact. So I spoke with her a little bit about it, and that was that. And then years later, after I had fled and I was in Spain, I was like, and obviously now I understood this is sex slavery is not something that's just happening in other parts of the world, because that's what happened to me. So I found her, I reached out to her, and for the life of me, I cannot remember her name now. I keep trying, I can't remember her name. But I was able to find her, and contacted her and told her what had happened to me. And she told me, almost certainly because of, I guess, various things, and that this is Russian mafia related. And it kind of made sense, right? Because it felt like I was living in Russia when I was in Camden. It felt like that like there was just no rights being protected here at all. And so she wrote this fairly small article. She did a little investigation. She tried to speak to my lawyer. She tried to speak to my predator. And I guess I'm not even going into all of that, but anyway, and then she wrote this little article sort of about the Russian mafia probable connection to what happened to me in Maine. And I helped her with it, but it was mostly her. And then she published it on Medium from Denmark. She published it on medium.com, and then it was taken down days later. And I never heard from her again. And I don't know if she's even still alive. And the article has been lost. I mean, I sent versions of it to my sister and other people, and so maybe they still have it. If you do, get it online, right? Because I think it's important.